Hello, welcome to Historical Reflection because today is Saturday and Saturday is kind of quite remarkable because we discuss many aspects from our history. And today we are discussing Quit India movement. And you know that Quit India movement is the milestone when we talk about Indian independence movement. And to discuss this topic, we have an eminent historian. She is associated with Symbiosis Hyderabad. So without wasting any further moment, let us welcome her. So welcome Mrs. Meeta Joshi. She is I want to welcome you and tell our viewers that you are connecting with us from Hyderabad. So how are you doing today? And definitely we will be discussing a very important topic, which is Quit India movement, which is aligned with a milestone in actually Indian independence movement. Welcome.
Namaskar, Kunjan. Thank you.
Well, when we are actually discussing about a Quit India movement, and I'm sure that many people know this movement. They know the name of Quit India movement, but we like to discuss take it further deep into so that we have understanding that how important this movement was and how it has affected in Indian independence movement. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So when we talk about Quit India movement, it is like why it started because the Cripps mission, which was offered by the British government by Sir Stafford Cripps of in giving a dominion status to India, was not accepted by the Indians because the sacrifices of Bhagat Singh and Chandrasekhar Azad just wanted independence. So, in the Bombay session of All India Congress Committee, it was decided that under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, a movement will be launched which will be known as Quit India Movement or Bharat Chodo Andolan. And it was declared on 8th of August 1942 from the historic Gowali Tank Maidan in Mumbai by Mahatma Gandhi ji. And he gave a slogan in this Quit India movement. He said, Karo ya maro, do or die, because this was the last chance for the Indians to get independence from the Britishers. So when we see the backdrop of Quit India movement, the Second World War was going on. It started in 1939 AD, and Britishers, they were participating in it, and they were in all the British Indian troops. They went to fight for the Second World War. So many amenities like food and other commodities were transported to Britain. So in India, things were like very costly. Inflation was on its rise and everything was going haywire. So that time, the beginning of Quit India movement, it brought the entire nation together and everyone participated in it actively. And Quit India movement saw a new leadership emerging in the political forefront, like Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Sucheta Kriplani, Dr. Aruna Asif Ali, and many others. So, when it was declared, then people all over India they started protests in a very big way, and many names, unheard names, which I will tell you today, who even sacrificed their lives for this in this movement, Quit India movement. And one name is Matangini Hazra. She was a lady who was leading a procession of 6,000 people, mostly women, and they were going to ransack a police station, but she died with the police bullets and with a tricolor in her hand. Same way in Assam, there two women I want to point out, Kanaklata Barwa and Kahuli Devi, who died of the police atrocities in Assam. And this Quit India movement, it saw a very significant feature was which was the formation of parallel governments in different parts of India. And it started with Balia in Uttar Pradesh, with Chittu Pandey forming the government in August 1942. Same way in Midnapur, a Jatiya Sarkar was formed in December 1942 and later at Satara. So now what Gandhiji told the common masses, that even if you are a government servant, don't quit your job but boycott them while being in a job. Whether you are in civil services, whether you are working as clerks or babus in the British Indian offices, don't quit the job but boycott them sitting in your chair. But unfortunately, many organizations like All India Muslim League, Viceroy Council, and Hindu Mahasabha, they boycotted the Quit India movement. They were not part of it. But now, as I told you, many names who were even Muslims, they participated actively in the Quit India movement. Then, as I told you, it started on 8th August 1942, and that's why it is also known as August Revolution or August Kranti. And slowly, when the developments were happening, the British government decided to imprison Gandhiji, and in 1943, Gandhiji was arrested and he was detained in Aga Khan Palace. And there, Gandhiji started a fast unto death for 21 days, which was a matter of concern for all the Indians because he was the mass leader and he was old, he was not keeping well. So there were protests all over India, and there were letters written to British government to free Gandhiji from prison so that he gives up his fast, and by that way his health improves. But all these things were not affecting the British government, and later, like 1943, he was arrested, but he got out from the jail in 1944, and he was then taken to the hospital because his condition was not very good. So this was another thing which united and got all the Indians together. And one very prominent thing which happened in Quit India movement was the women participation. It was at its maximum in Quit India movement. One name I want to mention, her name was Usha Mehta. She started a secret Congress radio to convey their viewpoints to the people. But very soon the Britishers discovered about the radio and they banned it. Even the newspapers which were published by Mahatma Gandhi ji, like Harijan and National Herald, were banned through the entire Quit India phase from 1942 to 1945. So the Britishers were trying their best to suppress the movement, but somehow they were unable to, because now each and every common Indian, whether it was a school going child or a woman or all the peasant strata, whether they were rich or they were poor, they participated in Quit India movement very, very actively. And Raja of Darbhanga, he supported the peasants financially who were involved in the Quit India movement. So it was now a people's movement where many people were on the roads. They were protesting, and they were just saying that Angrezo Bharat Chodo, Britishers leave India. And there were incidents of violence also. And when the incidents of violence happened, then the then Governor General Lord Linlithgow, he requested Gandhiji to appeal to the people that they should not become violent. But this time, Gandhiji said he will not tell anything to the people, because now it is the peak and high time that Britishers to understand that how much independence meant to Indian people, and how much desperate they were to get the independence from the British hands. So this way, this entire Quit India movement unfolded, and it started with a lot of vigor and zeal in 1942. But by the time in 1944, it slowly declined, and then it ended in 1945. And not only the leaders I'm talking about, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he gave the slogan Dilli Chalo, Chalo Delhi in 1942, and all his Jawans from INA, Indian National Army, they came together and they marched towards Delhi. Even protests were organized in Malaya in INA office. So it was like not only in India but other parts of the world as well. And all the newspapers of foreign countries, they criticized the British government, and they wrote for the Indians for the very first time, because till now all the newspapers, they were supporting the British government because they were powerful, they were the colonizers. But for the very first time, when Quit India movement was launched, so in many foreign newspapers also, it was written very openly that now it is high time that Britishers understand the need of the Indian people and give them independence.
Definitely it is quite a massive movement, and it was way ahead when we talk about the earlier movements for Indian independence. Now the question arises because when we talk about Britishers, they had the machinery, they have full control on Indian subcontinent at that point of time. They had wealth also. What made them to really listen to? Because earlier also there were movement and they were suppressed. Why it actually was so instrumental when we talk about Quit India movement in getting the independence in India? When the powerful ruler, which were Britishers, they had all those powers into their control. But why they have actually come into that mindset that now time has come to provide independence to Indian people? What are those factors?
Yes. The major factor was that the entire nation came together. Then, the power of masses, the power of people is always, more than the power of the ruling class. And then the leadership, mass leadership of Mahatma Gandhi ji, he was a national hero, and when he was imprisoned and he went into a fast unto death, then it really was a talk of the town everywhere, and people were writing petitions to the British government to free him from the prison. And then the Britishers understood that, God forbid, if something happens to Mahatma Gandhi, then they will be in a big mess. And they were the same Britishers who wrote when this, what is this? Just a minute. Um, the British Prime Minister, who was in the time of Queen Elizabeth, he wrote on the margin of his file that has Gandhi not died yet. Okay, when there was depression and there was economic crisis in India. So he wrote on the margins of the file, and now these are the same Britishers who are now very afraid, and they now, and because of the formation of parallel governments all over India in Balia, then Midnapur, then Satara. So, and those parallel governments, they worked for almost 2 years. They just told the collector to step down, and they formed their own governments. So when this type of things were happening, then the Britishers were compelled to think very seriously on this issue. And then the then Viceroy General Lord Linlithgow, he said that it was the most serious agitation till this time in India. So they understood the seriousness of the movement. And then seeing the unrest all over the country, then they finally started thinking to, give our country freedom at last.
Well, the Quit India movement actually stretched in couple of years before we got the independence. Now, the major question arises that we got this independence on a price, the division of India, and India was divided into two. So that was something where it was pre-planned by Britishers, but they can come back because they at that point of time they were not actually able to attend or maybe control this Quit India movement by the people. So this is how this kind of pre-planned independence, or how you really look into this, because we got independence on a price which is division of India. So your thoughts, ma'am?
Yes. See, Kanchan, one thing we need to understand that in 1909, when the Morley Minto reforms, they decided for a separate communal electorates in India. That time only they divided the Hindus and Muslims. And it was no surprise that the Indian Muslim League did not join Quit India movement along with Hindu Mahasabha and Viceroy's Council, because the only aim of Indian Muslim League was to have a separate state of Pakistan. So they were not bothered. Okay, they knew that they had good equation with the Britishers, and somehow by hook or crook they will get a separate state. But at what cost? The partition of India on 14th August 1947 is recorded as the most heinous, criminal act in history, because around 2 million people were displaced and many lost their lives. So it was a very disturbing thing which happened, but then we paid a big price for it. And uh, still, when we look back, still we are still paying a price for that, because after the article 370 was revoked from Kashmir, we are often seeing in our newspaper headlines that our Indian soldiers are sacrificing their lives on the POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So it is continuing, it's still continuing.
Was one last question is, can this division could have avoided before the independence, or after the independence there was already a problem, but before signing up for the independence decree, can this division of landmass from Indian subcontinent can be avoided by the leaders of India?
It is a very difficult question to answer, Kanchan, because if you see the political scene that time, if the partition would not have happened, maybe there were civil wars inside the country now and then, because the unrest was so much. In the people who were supporting Indian Muslim League, and Jinnah was very bullheaded about the partition, and they did not consider anything. They said we just want our separate state, no matter what. So if a situation would have arose that it would have been avoided, it would have happened only when the Indian Muslim League and the people supporting them would understand that in which cost, at what cost they were dividing the nation. But because, see, politics, we all know and we all have witnessed over the period of time that it is always dirty and selfish. So the same happened that time also.
Well, it is quite an interesting topic and it's quite deep rooted when we talk about Indian independence movement. And as you know that even then, the Muslim League and Hindu Mahasabha didn't participate in Quit India movement. So that shows that the religion and everything, which is it was kept aside. It is more of people's will to get independence in India. So as usual, it's quite interesting to talk about this profound and this deep-rooted movement which has created stir for independence movement. I look forward for our viewers who are watching. They can also add in this discussion. In case if they have any more queries, we have expert on her in-house, and she will be actually answering or clearing your doubt. So as usual, Mrs. Meeta Joshi, it's quite interesting topic. Thank you for discussing this topic. We'll be meeting again on Saturdays.
Last thing I wanted to tell, that the slogan "Quit India" was given by Congress socialist activist Yusuf Meher Ali in 1942. So he gave the slogan "Quit India."
Quite interesting, ma'am. So again, see you and the next topic, same profound topic regarding independence, Indian independence movement. Till then, have a nice time. Bye bye. Thanks again. So we have discussed about a Quit India movement, and I'm sure that you must have got the insight about the movement, how it unfolded, how the people desire were being put forward and were acknowledged by then Britishers, and it was impossible for them to really hold on to this colony which they have been ruling for such a long time. So we'll be meeting again, and again I'm asking you your comments and anything you want to add into this discussion. See you in next with the profound discussion next Saturday. Till then, have a nice time. Take care. Bye bye.